young core group of players.
Mm-hmm.
Only 3 teams currently in the league have 3 guys averaging 20-plus points. Don't be surprised when you hear the Cavs. You won't be surprised when you hear the Warriors. The other, Levine, Wiggins, Towns.
I did not know that, Mr. Rose. Thank you for that information.
And so, as you now see that they have what it takes to be big-time players in a unit that you can build around, now you build the other 12 players accordingly. And so, guys like Ricky Rubio, hope he's renting.
He's gone.
Hope he's leasing.
He's gone.
Gorgie Jang, he's giving them quality minutes, but in the right deal, of course, you keep them or move them. And that goes for all of the players that are in the rotation. And so when they get picked to play on Christmas Day, a lot of people get enthusiastic. Like, wow, they're next. They are going to be an exciting young team to follow, but just not this season, especially if you anticipating them to make the playoffs, because that's not happening.
Where is Rubio going to go? Like, where do you think I don't think he's going to finish the year in the Timberwolves, but I don't know where the natural landing spot is for him.
I got a home for Rubio.
You do?
Sure.
Where are we going to put Mr. Rubio?
Amongst players that average 5 assists per game, he has great court sense.
He creates baskets. I was watching the game yesterday. It was like he'll create a basket where there wasn't one with a pinpoint pass.
And he does something, and I want to acknowledge as a compliment. He exhausts possessions to get guys open. In football, they call it the over-the-shoulder throw or throwing a player open. That's what he does, and I love that. The back shoulder throw. But also amongst those players, he has the worst field goal percentage.
They don't cover him.
Like 37%.
Like they just do not cover him. They just
don't. So that clearly distorts your spacing. So if I wanted to put him with a team that I felt like had scores that didn't necessarily you want to create for themselves consistently, but his inability to shoot wouldn't necessarily be as much of a hindrance as it is for the Wolves, because you have other players that could possibly do it. I got a couple of squads for you.
Okay. Are you making this up on the spot?
I am.
I can tell.
One team, the New York Knicks.
Jennings and Rose aren't enough of a backcourt. We're going to bring in Ricky Rubio.
What do they do? That's the strength of their game.
Score.
And they need the ball consistently.
Yes.
And they're shoot-first players.
See, I always imagined that Rubio would end up playing in Madison Square Garden, but then when they acquired Jennings and Rose, I was like, oh, I guess they're not really trying to look at Rubio as someone. But he seems to be a better fit, because who should be shooting the ball on the Knicks? Carmelo Anthony, Kristaps Porzingis, right? So you want somebody in the backcourt that knows that too. I don't know if they have that right now.
And these are just freestyle moves that if you root for these teams, you can consider them. And if you like them and they happen, great. If they don't happen and they make other moves, see how this move would have impacted your team. I got another one for Ricky Rubio.
Where are we sending Rubio?
How about sending Rubio to the Kings? Because he would now play with Boogie Cousins.
He just doesn't seem like a Hennessy in the locker room kind of guy, though.
Correct. That's the point.
Oh, that's what we want him there?
You don't want 12 guys all going to the same place the night before the game. That's how you build a roster. If all of your guys are in the same strip club or the same nightclub or the same restaurant or the same bar,
that's called team building.
Or all in their room, either way. Like, you just want multiple personalities when you put a roster together.
Okay.
And I have one more landing spot for him.
Where are we sending Ricky?
To the Spurs.
That makes sense to me. He can't shoot, though.
Correct. But their best players are wings. Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge. They need somebody that can create buckets for them, layups and dunks.
So I've always wondered this, and I'm glad that you played in the NBA because you can answer it. Isn't it just psychologically damaging when people don't cover you? It's just got to be psychologically mess with you when the opposing team is just staring at you and you're only 17 feet from the basket and they're just like, go ahead and shoot it, Ricky. We want that.
Let me see. What analogy can I use for fans of our show that they can appreciate millennials? Okay, social media. You're trying to call somebody or you're texting somebody and they're ignoring you, but they continue to post on Instagram and Twitter all day.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, they're too busy to hit you back. Or clearly ignoring you.
But they got their phone.
But they have their phone, and they're continuing to post all day on social media. That's how it is when someone doesn't guard you. The hardest thing in basketball is when you can't shoot. It's the hardest thing. It's almost having a nice vehicle, but you don't have the keys. Mm-hmm. And so when you can't unlock the floor and knock down a couple of jimmies, who doesn't feel good doing that? That muscle memory just feels good. Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest rebounders of all time. He didn't necessarily celebrate when he got a rebound, but man, he make a three. Oh man, that dude might run back out of bounds to get back on defense. He was so enthusiastic. And so those are three potential landing spots that may or may not clearly happen, but it is emotionally damaging when a couple of things you can use when you're playing ball. When the guy tells you you're open for a reason, because the other 9 guys hear that too. So now when you shoot, it's not only psychologically damaging to you, it's psychologically damaging to your teammates. And the other thing is he with us. So now when you shoot 2 or 3 times and you miss, your own teammates like, don't shoot anymore.
Those are 2 things that if you play basketball with Jalen Rose, he will consistently yell, no matter what level of basketball you are at or what you do for your day job, Jalen Rose will psychologically damage you in a pickup basketball game. Yep. The Cleveland Cavaliers will be playing the Memphis Grizzlies this evening in Memphis. However, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love will not only be resting, they will not even be traveling. What? I have no problem with this practice. It upsets you very much. But my question for you is, how would you fix it? You are now, Adam Silver just called your phone, one of your 7 phones. You pick it up, Adam says, Jalen, we got to fix this resting thing. What are you going to do about it?
For anybody that's seen Menace to Society, there's a scene in the movie where Bill Duke has Kane in a questioning room. Big light. And he's grilling him about the incident. And he says, you know you done effed up right. You know you done messed up right. Okay. That's what I'm pointing to the media, to the fans. For players like me, where you just made it so much easier for me to take nights off and still get paid. For me to play 16 years instead of the 13 I already played. For me to now pick and choose when I look at the schedule the nights that I do not want to play basketball, regardless of the fans that have purchased tickets to watch NBA players perform.
They'll watch NBA players perform.
Here's the issue that you're not seeing. You own the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay? Your team plays a basketball game tonight versus the defending world champion Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
And they don't have LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, or Kevin Love. You're not happy about that as an owner.
I'm happy about wins.
What you're going to do now that people aren't seeing, you're going to write a really stern email to the league office.
A well-worded email.
And you're going to acknowledge the fact that I've been selling to my fan base on this date all of these notable stars that the NBA markets. See, this ain't the NFL where they market the Shield. And it just so happens to resemble a flag. Okay? In the NBA, the logo is
Jerry West.
A player. Okay? The NBA advertises players, and then they focus on the team dynamic, which is why we didn't appreciate the Spurs during their run, because they were insulated as a team. Though they had 3 Hall of Famers. You know what just happened over the last 15 years? The Spurs put 3 people in the Hall of Fame, and we didn't even talk about them being a super team. That's what just happened.
Let's talk about resting players, which is what the Spurs do.
I'm going to the Spurs because guess what? They're the team that made it in vogue. They're the team that made it to where Pop would say, I'm more focused on winning the championship than winning a game in December, January, February, March,
That's exactly where I would want my head coach's mind to be.
But here's what got twisted, and this is why one thing is when the Fab Five is wearing saggy pants down to our knees. I didn't necessarily hope that it was going to turn into pants halfway down your butt where I could see your underwear. There's extremes, okay? Pop has players that competed internationally. named Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker.
Sure.
And guess what they were doing? Playing basketball 10 months a year. So in order to preserve those guys that were already, now just think about this, were already playing long playoff runs into the finals, winning championships, that's when he decided that he was going to start to rest those individuals, not the other way around. This ain't like Lane Kiffin's job org chart where it seems like it should have happened in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what teams are now doing. They're taking a regular season game and saying,
what is wrong with that, though? I don't understand what's wrong with it.
What's wrong with it, David Jacoby, is your job as a league. Each night when somebody picks up a remote and wants to watch League Pass or purchases a ticket, the integrity of the game would be that the healthy players do what they can to perform. And you know what else all sporting events have in common? That the person that's next to you that seems like a rabid fan or that seems really enthusiastic about sports, you know what they all have in common? A betting line. So not only are you messing with
So now you're worried about the integrity of the gambling?
That's an absolute fact that happens in sports. I watch Sports Center, and I love Scott Van Pelt. But each night, he has a segment called Bad Beats.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that focus on?
Betting.
Only. So it's out there.
That's part of a sports fan experience, though. Like part of what fuels our industry, the entire sports industry, are people betting on the games. That's what fantasy is.
Correct. So now, not only are you not, keeping the integrity of your sport intact during 82 regular season games because you're resting healthy players, you're also, B, influencing the betting line.
So here's my original question. Adam Silver calls your phone, okay? And Adam, he said, Jalen, you're the only person I can come to on this. No one else would pick up the phone. I need to instate a rule. I need to change our policy to incentivize players to play. What do you do?
Hit the brakes. If you see somebody that says, oh, there's nothing the league can do about it, and they're on television, A, change the channel. B, if they're sitting in front of you and you have this type of relationship with them, thump them on the forehead. There is something you can do. If guys finish the previous game, they can play in the next game.
Okay.
Let me repeat that. If guys finish a game on Wednesday, he's healthy to go on Thursday or Friday.
If he doesn't want to play on Thursday or Friday, say, I tweaked my ankle while going down the stairs, so I'm not ready to play.
So here's what you do. Just like all of the other calls in the NBA. Follow me in my Tupac voice. They're judgment calls, right? Reaching, over the back, 3 seconds, travel, rookie call, veteran call in the first quarter. I kind of know a lot about this sport, don't I? Mm-hmm. And how it works. I know when a referee sees two guys commit a foul, they look at which one it is, know how many fouls one of them got. And if it's a guy that only plays 8 minutes and it's a guy that's a multi-time all-star, that guy's getting the foul. It happens. So here's what I would do. I would hit the team in the pockets. I would fine them, just like you fine teams when players aren't available for the media.
They did that with the Spurs in 2012 when they didn't play against the Heat, and the Spurs still rested players.
But trust me. When you hit those pockets, that's when you get action. Not conversations, not innuendos. You find teams when they sit their players at home. You find them double when they sit a player on the road when they're healthy. That's what you do.
Steph Curry hit a shot. Okay? And then proceeded to get a pound from the assistant coach of the Pelicans, the opposing team. What? Do you have a problem with him giving Steph Curry a pound?
Not only do I have a problem with him giving Steph Curry a pound, if I was the head coach, I probably would have sent him to the locker room like Mike Singletary did Vernon Davis.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Even though they have a history together, he used to be an assistant coach at the Warriors, and if you look closely, he gave him like a closed hand, like recognition. He didn't give him a real pound.
I played for almost every team in the NBA.
Facts.
Which means when I get off the bus or the plane, there's clearly somebody of the 25 people sitting on the other bench between players, coaches, and staff that I know personally.
There's got to be at least you've probably champagne and campaigned with 30% of the league that you played with.
And with that being said, that has absolutely never happened. Not once. Because there's a level of etiquette that you must display. And yes, I'm all for the fraternization that takes place between players. And I know you see Dwayne Wade and LeBron James sitting on the scorer's table holding up their jerseys and them talking off wax because they don't want us to read their lips. That's fine. Though I don't necessarily embrace it. It is what it is. When you're in a position of leadership, it's way different. Because you are the people that drive the culture. Now, let me bring people a little bit behind the curtain to who this coach is. Because now when you're giving daps to Steph Curry, Mr. Erdman, we're going to talk about that in the media.
Because he had a checkered stint in Golden State.
So I want to talk about you more so than just the video. Let's talk about how he was recording a conversation that he was not a part of.
He was recording multiple conversations, and he had conversations between coaches, conversations with players, and he was allegedly leaving his phone recording and then leaving the room.
This assistant coach, who was a part of Mark Jackson's staff while he was in Golden State, would leave a bag in a room, put a phone and press record, zip the bag closed, and then try to record the conversations while he's not in the room.
You know I have no ethics or morals, all right? I can't rock with that. Like, I just wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror at night knowing that I did that, especially if I then shared that information with the front office. Like, that's too much for me.
Just think about what we just said now. Darren Erdman was an assistant coach on the staff of Mark Jackson in Golden State. He was secretly recording things that were being said in coaches' meetings, then turning around, sharing them with the front office to undermine Mark to try to get him fired.
And it worked.
He had an accomplice, too. Brian Scalabrine. Okay? You guys joking, calling the White Mamba? Okay, let me tell you something Kobe wouldn't do. Kobe wouldn't get demoted to the D-League. You know why that happened? Because he exhibited a pattern of disrespect as well toward authority at that time.
He didn't talk to Mark Jackson for 5 weeks.
Just think about that. Somebody has you on their staff, but you don't talk to them for weeks. Now what you're doing, along with Mr. Erdman, is trying to draw friction between that coach and the front office, and in theory, based on your personal relationships, see who they're going to choose.
I think that behavior has permeated through Mark Jackson's career, and whenever people, coaching positions comes up, like the New York Knicks, who he played for, where he's from, I think that period in Golden State has made it hard to hire him.
Let me tell you also what was unique with the Darren Erdman situation. Not only did he do this in Golden State, he immediately got hired by Boston.
Real quick.
Like, immediately hired by Boston.
Would you hire somebody who secretly recorded conversations?
And then take it a step further, immediately got hired by Alvin Gentry in New Orleans.
The Alvin Gentry, who was a coach where?
With the Golden State Warriors.
That's right.
And so, while we're talking about him giving dap to Steph Curry, we should also talk about him giving a stab in the back to Mark Jackson.
Well put, Mr. Rose. They tried to punk the unicorn. They're trying to punk the unicorn, Jalen. My man, Kristaps Porzingis, playing in Phoenix. Eric Bledsoe tries to take a charge on him when he doesn't have the ball, okay? And then Marquise Chris throws him to the ground. And here's my question. Do you think players try to punk Kristaps Porzingis because of the way they look?
No. I don't think people try to be more physical with Porzingis because of the way he looks, or that he's an international player.
That's kind of what I'm getting, the international part. Do you feel like domestic players try to punk international players? Test them.
I think when you're good, you're going to have the attention of the other team. And so when you run down the floor, it shouldn't be because people aren't trying to get in your way to create barriers. That's just going to happen when you're good. You're 7 foot. He was 4 for 4 from 3. He was scoring from 2. He was blocking shots. He's a really talented player. He's going to be a multiple-time All-Star. They got tangled up. Marquise Chris is also a young, athletic player trying to make his way in the league. Tyson Chandler had 20-plus rebounds. That's what he does. Throw his body around to try to be a dirty work performer. Eric Bledsoe, 3 straight games, 30-plus points. The Phoenix Suns needed that win. And guess what happened? They got it.
Jalen, 2 weeks into a 3-month, 1,100-mile trek, an Antarctic adventurer named Alex Brazier is suffering from a condition known as polar penis. What? Making his penis very cold, very painful, and swollen. Will you be joining him on his next trip to Antarctica?
Absolutely not, because polar penis is not something I want to have in my future.
No. Jalen Rose.
Yes, sir.
Jim Harbaugh has addressed the rumors that he might go to the Rams. And here's what Harbaugh had to say. Bear with me for a second. It ends good.
Okay.
I'm not leaving Michigan, not even considering it. A lot of this talk is coming from our enemies.
Got a lot of enemies.
From coaches. You know the names. You probably know the names of the top 3 I'm referring to. They like to say that to the media.
Tony.
They like to tell that to the recruits, to their families, try to manipulate them into going to some other school besides Michigan. We know them as jive turkeys. Do you support Jim Harbaugh's use of the term jive turkeys?
I do. It showed me he watched a lot of Good Times growing up.
Yeah.
I have no problems with it. He's a Midwest kid. It was shot in Chicago. J.J. Evans.
White guy confession. Don't know what a jive turkey is. What's a jive turkey?
Somebody that's pulling your leg. Somebody that's running game on you. That's really all it is. You know what a turkey is, right?
I'm familiar with the turkey.
Okay, you just add the word jive in front of it.
Okay.
You're jiving. Like, another term that's used in a different context is almost like shucking and jiving.
So you think that he is saying that Urban Meyer, Coach D'Antoni, and
Nick Saban
are jive turkeys?
Yes. He said, you know their names, and he says 3.
Jive turkeys.
I addressed this already. He's not leaving Michigan. It's his dream job. If they want him bad enough, call him and ask him, where can you overnight a check? Sign your name at the bottom, Stan Kroenke, and put $100 million in the box. And for the memo line, put all football power.
I want 8 zeros.
Other than that, you get jammed up, don't mention my name.
He's never coached anywhere in more than 4 years. Do you think he will exceed that in Michigan?
Yes. It's his dream job.
Do you think they will win a national championship under Jim Harbaugh?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Of course.
We'll see.
Well, that almost happened this season, in only his second year.
You know how these big college football programs are all opening new facilities and they have all different little, amenities to them? This one I can get with. Clemson is about to open their facility, and they posted a picture of one of the features in their new facility. It is a full-size, 1-floor, adult-size slide from the second floor to the ground floor. Are slides underrated?
Yep. Slides are underrated.
Very underrated.
How about this? Any Detroit native that listens to this, going to Belle Isle, getting on the giant slide was epic. Okay? You get the mat.
Water slide? Not a water slide?
Wood-ish. That's how it felt. But it was a metal slide. You walk up and it was like waves.
Here's the thing. You can miss me with the skiing. You can miss me with the snowboarding. You know what you do during the summer, Aspen? Just fill those slopes with slides. I will travel there. Skiing's too hard.
And
too cold.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I want to go on a big slide.
It almost fits their dynamic because that's how they run in the Death Valley, right? Downward, where you almost have to control your steps in theory based on how the stadium is built. So it kind of only makes sense that they have a duplicate of that when you can physically slide down. That's fly. I like it a lot.
LeBron's not playing the Memphis Grizzlies, but the Memphis Grizzlies are coached by whom?
David Fizdale.
Who coached LeBron where?
Miami.
Here's what he said about the potential of LeBron James being a head coach in the NBA.
Could you ever imagine LeBron being a coach himself?
No. He would kill somebody. Perfection is like, he wants perfection, and I can see him actually owning his own team and doing something like that, but I think he would end up killing a player at some point.
This is why you would be a great coach in the NBA, Jalen. Perfection's not your thing.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not striving for perfection. You let people have flaws. You're malleable. Do you think LeBron James would make a good head coach?
I think with the resume that he's built, that would be at best a lateral move for him. He is on a trek a la Michael Jordan to try to put himself in position of ownership. Guys like he and Derek Jeter, I see that more for them than actually trying to be day-to-day coaches. And it's not just because of their expectations, because you've seen a lot of great players. Parents do this too. You struggle at trying to get your kids to appreciate your struggle or work as hard as you did or look at things the way you feel they should look at things. But that can be a warped and jaded view from their eyes. So you usually see all-time greats struggle when people that they're trying to teach, talk to, or nurture can't pick up their lessons. But I've been around some all-time greats, and it worked out well for me personally and professionally to have people like Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson as my mentors. It's worked for those guys, but I agree with Fizdale. He's more on a trek of MJ than a trek to be a coach.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
We always toe the line here.
We already did. You talked about a polar penis.
Don't get fired. That was a serious story about serious journalism, something that happened in the world I want to report to our fans.
Something going on at home you trying to share with us?
Don't get fired, Jalen.
Okay.
The Lakers say they're not staying at the Trump Hotel in New York this week because of security concerns. Do you believe that?
That's part of it. It's also due to the fact that those that have been paying attention since Donald Trump became the president-elect, a lot of the buildings that bear his name, in particular apartments or condos, people express that exact thing you just acknowledged from the Lakers team, to the point where the cries got so loud, there are buildings since that day happened that have actually removed his name from them. This is happening real time.
This bothers me about the Lakers, because if you're not staying at the Trump Hotel because you do not agree with his political views or you do not want to seem to support some of the statements that he's made, then just own it. But to say it's because of security concerns, I just don't believe it. You know what I think about that?
It's a PC way to please both sides.
It's a lie.
You don't want to alienate your fans that you think support who the president-elect is.
So you lie.
Because you understand that he alienated a lot of people during his run. And what has been termed as a white lash now showed up in particular in the Electoral College that made him president. So you don't want those people to not be fans of your brand. So that's a PC way of saying you don't want to stay at the hotel.
So, Jalen, I don't want to talk about politics. We're not going to.
Why?
Because I don't want to get fired. I have a lot of kids. But there is some sort of like recount, blah, 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 Michigan, blah, blah, blah. And one thing that happened, I was looking at Twitter today, and there was a hashtag Detroit verification questions. And I clicked on it, and it was a list of questions that will verify if you are from Detroit just by knowing the answers.
I got a couple of answers before somebody even opens their mouth.
Okay.
If you want some real Detroit verification, unless you want me to do it at the end.
Go for it. Oh, you want me to just start? Okay.
We'll
do it again. We'll do it
I'll
again.
give you the real Detroit verification.
Which two schools have the biggest rivalry? King and Cass, King and Renaissance, Cass and Renaissance, Pershing and DSA.
Say them again. I'm sorry.
King and Cass.
You just named 8 schools.
King and Cass,
Mm-hmm.
King and Renaissance, Cass and Renaissance, Pershing and DSA.
Rivalry in what? Academics or sports?
Sports.
Football?
We keep asking follow-up questions. They're just high school rivals.
No, it does. I mean, that's almost like asking. I'm not trying to mince words, but
Yes, you are.
let me give you an example. I went to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody says, "What's our rival?" you would deem it's Michigan State, but it's more so in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But in football, it's Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I asked.
Do you want to move on?
So
to
in
the
a
next question?
vacuum, I'll say King and Renaissance.
Okay.
What's the answer?
I don't know.
So how are we gonna do a multiple choice?
Look,
Come on, man.
you're supposed to know. You're supposed to be verified by. You're supposed to Detroit verification. You're my Detroit guy. Next
So,
question.
Answer that question again. Answer me that again. So now I got to try to get this right. I would have thought you or somebody on the staff would actually have taken the time to get the proper answer before you ask me a multiple choice question.
You know
where I can
how-
say anything and nobody knows the answer.
You know how our staff works.
All right.
What's found
Who
everywhere?
has the best rivalry?
King and Cass.
I will say King and Cass.
What's found everywhere on 8 Mile? Strip clubs,
Strip clubs. That's the answer.
weed dispensary, both 1 and 2, or parks?
You see, I was right. Both 1 and 2.
Okay. Next one. Where did you go for almost every field trip? Detroit Science Center, Charles H. Wright Museum, Detroit Zoo, Greenfield Village.
All of the above.
Okay. Since we don't know the answers, you know. Majority of people claiming to be from Detroit are really from Grosse Pointe, Bloomfield Hills, Farmington Hills, or Roseville.
When they're out of town, all of the above. In particular, Bloomfield.
Okay.
An affluent suburb for those, I guess I couldn't give a California example. It wouldn't help too much. But I guess Birmingham reminds me of, what's right by Santa Monica? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Brentwood?
Brentwood. Birmingham reminds me of Brentwood. West Bloomfield reminds me of Beverly Hills.
You know how my dad's from Detroit? He's probably from one of those places. Big shout out to my dad, Jalen Jacoby.
I did some research on my dad. And I realized that I was born January of 73. And he was traded from the Pistons in December of 72. You never know. Maybe a GM cost me a father.
Wait a second.
And that's not an excuse not to follow up with your shorty, by the way. I'm just saying. Just interesting dynamic that I learned.
I like Jalen Rose facts. Do you have another Jalen Rose fact?
Let's do some more Detroit facts.
Okay. How yo Coney Island restaurant need to look? Upscale, slightly sketchy, really sketchy, you getting robbed outside.
You get robbed outside.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, though, chili fries would be crazy.
Sounds great.
It's well worth it.
This one I don't even understand because I'm not from Detroit. Boy, would you blank and get this money. Man up, get down, boss up, grind hard.
First off, repeat those?
Man up, get down, boss up, grind hard. Don't worry because you can't get it wrong because we don't know what the answers are.
First off, man up.
Okay, I like that. This one is my favorite. This is from Detroit City Gov. Like the actual city of Detroit tweeted this. The actual city of Detroit tweeted this. What's happening? What up? What it do? That's for show. But everybody in my city says blank.
That's like when you go to your job and you have a card that swipes you in the building.
Just punch.
You automatically, as soon as somebody say what up, though, 80% of the time they from Detroit. or they listen to this program, or they spend a lot of time there.
I just love the city
And by the
of
way,
Detroit.
it's what? WHAT.
I'm curious about this.
UP, separate word, DOE.
That's exactly how they spelled it as well. What up is one word, but I just love that the city of Detroit itself got in on this, and that they have embraced what up, though.
I got more, unless you got more.
I got a couple more.
Okay, cool.
Do da blank. Meet or meep? I don't even know what that's about.
So,
I got a
I
good one.
don't even care about that
I
one.
got a good one. What's the best part of Detroit? Vancouver, 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 or Vancouver?
They're all spelled different?
No. I think it's a joke. That the best part of Detroit is Vancouver.
Got it.
You got one for us?
I got a few of them for you guys. I'll give you guys a Detroit snapshot as I'm here trying to make a couple of notes because I know I'm going to forget a lot of stuff.
No.
And I know I'm going to have so many Detroiters hitting me up like, you should have told him this, you should have told him that. So maybe we should dedicate one of our voicemails to this topic for people to help me remember as I do this freestyle. So beyond some of the most amazing musicians that have ever graced the earth in R&B, soul, and rap music, past,
Rock and
present,
roll.
current, and future, as well as rock and roll. Everybody from the Jackson 5 to Kid Rock to Eminem to Big Sean, Royce, Trick, Blade Icewood. The list goes on and on. I don't even want to start naming people. Diana Ross, because I'm going to forget.
You're gonna
Aretha
forget.
Franklin.
Yeah.
I'm just going to forget people. And then you have the culture of individuals like Rosa Parks.
She's a Detroiter?
Absolutely.
Huh.
But then you have certain institutions that took place when I grew up. I know I'm going to take some people down memory lane. Belle Isle, which still exists. Edgewater. Bob Lowe. Doing the Earl Flynn. Doing the Smurf. Doing the Schoolcraft. Going skating. Rocking Cartiers. Drinking Faygo. And I know we joke a lot on this program about me eating Cheetos and Doritos and stuff like that. That's JV. Varsity's better made. That's what I was raised on. Better made. Okay, when I'm in the D, I'm eating better made barbecue chips. And then I'm getting the red hot popcorn, and that's what I'm truly mixing. That's my favorite.
Red hot popcorn?
Absolutely.
And better made what?
Better made barbecue chips.
Chips and popcorn?
The brand is called Better Made.
That is disgusting. That's disgusting.
Absolutely. Faygo, did I say that? Hostess. Coney Island.
No list
Jefferson.
of Detroit musicians is
Joe
going to be
Louis.
fully complete, but we
Cobo
do have
Hall.
to mention the Juggalos.
East Side, West Side.
Oh, I meant Stevie Wonder. Yep. So Wake Forest had a radio announcer named Tommy Elrod.
Radio. Suckers never play me.
Tommy used to play for Wake Forest. He used to coach at Wake Forest. Then he was let go by Wake Forest as a coach, and he's picked up as a radio announcer. It has been brought to light. Starting in 2014, Tommy Elrod would give information to opposing coaches, specifically Louisville. Are you surprised by this?
With friends like this, who needs enemies? And it's really tricky because I always talk about the dynamic. And by the way, that's an amazing jacket.
It's a great jacket.
Thank you for representing.
I'm wearing my Jalen Rose Leadership Academy jacket.
I always talk about the dynamic of why people come into your life for 4 reasons: to add, subtract, multiply, or divide.
Or to give information to opposing teams.
And I say choose wisely because here's an individual, while still employed by the establishment that he played for and coached for, clearly is salty about how those situations ended. And instead of the organization just parting ways with him, they call themselves showing him love, keeping him around, and giving him another gig, a radio gig. And so how does he thank them while collecting whatever check they're giving him? By undermining the very thing he's set to cover. have zero respect for individuals like that.
Another assistant coach gone wrong today. Because I said earlier today when we talked about the Warriors assistant coach who was recording conversations that he wasn't in, and how that just wouldn't sit right with me. Like, I wouldn't be able to look in the mirror at night. And then the same thing with this. Like, you're giving the opposing team, like, I'm not like Mr. Morals either, but like, you're giving the opposing team secrets for the team that you broadcast for, team that you played for. How do you go to sleep at night? Like, how do you have a clear conscience out of that?
I got a clear conscience question for you. And how long can you go and still function, still make your moves, run your errands, and do all of this stuff without showering?
Well, here's the thing, Jalen.
See, that's like when somebody asks, do you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Like, why you got to go to,
I'm about to explain something. I'm sorry if I'm just going to make it into a fun story to listen to.
I'm just joking. Please continue.
I have twin 1-year-old girls, and I have a 3.5-year-old boy. During the week, I don't have to see them during the day. So I shower. During the weekend, it's just me and my wife, and I promise you, I'm lucky if I get half a shower in between Friday and Monday morning. Parents know this. Parents with new children know this. It's like, it's just not about you. I don't have the 20 minutes to shower on the weekend. So I pretty much go every weekend without showering. I know that's gross, but that's just what's happening around the Jacoby house. Because by the time the kids are asleep, I'm too tired to even get in the shower.
Because you talked about him not feeling right. So I just wanted to get there.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
for sharing.
I'll go. If it gets to my 3rd day in a row without showering, I got to do something about it. I got to do something about it. You smell yourself? I got to do something about it. I love this beat, by the way, Reggie. Luke Walton says that he's getting coaching advice from Phil Jackson. Do you have any problem with that?
Not at all. He was on his staff along with Brian Shaw. He also played for him and won championships. Phil's one of the all-time greats. He has 11 rings. And also he wants to see the Lakers do well, not only for the reasons I just mentioned, but also his better half, Jeannie Buss, is a part of the ownership group.
Do you think Phil Jackson will cash another check with the Lakers logo on it before 2020?
No. But there will be a time where he's not working for the Knicks and the Lakers going to be paying him to do something.
To do something,
even if it's
right?
just to come to games at the Staples Center.
Consulting or whatever.
Or just to be an ambassador of the team.
Yeah, show up and, come to practice. Like Tim Duncan, come to practice. So, Kevin Durant took a lot of heat when he left Oklahoma City. Remember, there was like 2 months where Kevin Durant was, he was a villain. Everybody hated Kevin Durant. Everybody's forming a super team, and I would never do this in my day, blah, blah, blah. Well,
by the way, that's what he said. See, here's the thing.
Jalen.
You go old man voice, but that was actually Kevin Durant's tone about that, not ours. He said that. Why is everybody going to L.A.? Why is everybody going to Miami? We need to just loke up and try to go at these guys. He said that.
Great use of loke up. I just want to give him a shout out. He donated $57,000 for a school for homeless children in Oklahoma City. Because he doesn't have to do that.
He's always been thoughtful, philanthropic, along with being a great player. That's one of the things I really respect about Kevin Durant and his team. They make sure that it's bigger than the score of the game.
You familiar with Justin Bieber?
Yes.
One thing about Justin Bieber that I respect, there's a lot, but one thing is, dude can play basketball.
You know what I respect?
He can play basketball.
I'm standing there with my 2 daughters. He showed them nothing but love. Took pictures with them. So anybody
Did he say your name? Did he know who you were?
He did, and he talked about us playing basketball together also. Maybe I should hit him up. He gave me his math.
So, Justin Bieber, one of the most famous musicians in the world, he was playing like what it basically amounts to pickup hockey. In Los Angeles. I just love the idea that Justin Bieber just, he's Canadian. He gets his pads and that big hockey bag that they have and goes down to it's a King's practice facility and plays some hockey. In this particular clip that I saw on TMZ Sports, shout out to them, he was skating down the rink. An opposing player smashed his stick in half. Justin Bieber attempted to fight said player, but no one wanted it with Justin Bieber. Do you respect Bieber more after hearing this or less?
You guys respect the one that got shot. I respect the shooter. What you didn't see in that footage, or what you're not hearing about that story, is the legion of security he had present at the time.
So it's kind of like an NBA basketball floor where, like, the whole thing is acting like you want to fight because we know it's never going to happen. Kristaps Porzingis knows that he's not going to square up with Marquise Chris. They're not going to go at each other. It's not like everyone's going to be like, make a circle around and be like, let's have a fair one, guys. You know, like, that's not how it works. You know? Like, it's not how it works. So you think Justin Bieber didn't really want it?
I'm saying, had it happened in another way, we wouldn't know about it.
If you suited up in hockey pads and were put into this game with real hockey players, what would it look like?
Here's the problem. You don't have to worry about how it would look because I wouldn't be able to skate.
You'd just be holding on to the walls. just holding on to the walls
Correct.
the whole time.
I wouldn't be able to skate.
Ben Simmons put on a 76ers practice uniform, didn't have a walking boot, and was taking shots at practice. He is eyeing a January return to the NBA. Should he come back this season?
Absolutely. What do you think?
I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted. Here's why I'm conflicted. The 76ers are not going to the playoffs, okay? The 76ers as a franchise are actually motivated to lose basketball games. I would only have Ben Simmons come back if I was 1,000% sure that he was not at risk to get injured again. There's no reason to rush Ben Simmons back, to trot him out there onto the floor so he can potentially get injured again. He's playing against players that are literally in midseason form, and he's just getting his NBA sea legs underneath him. That is why I would hesitate. And as an aside, if I'm his agent, Rich Paul, I want him to get Rookie of the Year next year. So I would sit out the entire year and just start fresh as a rookie in training camp and then start in preseason, go into the season just like everybody else as an NBA rookie next year.
Who says if he comes back that it's going to be because he's rushed?
I didn't say that. No one
You
said
did.
that.
You said I wouldn't rush him back.
No. Maybe I said that. Okay. There's a possibility I said that.
Okay, yes.
When I say I wouldn't rush him back is I would want to make sure that he was as healthy as everybody else on the team.
You know how you can really find out if he's healthy? Playing basketball. Not running on a treadmill, not in practice like AI voice, but in the game. If he's able to go, he should get the experience in a season that you just deemed, and I agree, is lost. So that now, when you play from January to April, you're not learning what you could have learned this year from September next year through December. That's the reason why you bring him back. They've already tanked enough the last couple of years. Now it's all about getting experience. So I've noticed the same level of thinking and mind state of people that don't mind resting healthy players.
Don't mind it at all.
Are the ones that think players should just miss their whole rookie year. Like, so what should he do?
Should miss the whole year.
Come on, man. That don't even make sense.
I want him to get Rookie of the Year.
That don't make sense.
You're not going to get Rookie of the Year if you come back in January.
That don't make sense.
I don't make sense.
So what is he going to be doing in January, February? Just practicing?
Yeah, practicing, working out, rehabbing.
Let me ask you this.
Nope.
Name 3 people on Philly's roster.
Seriously? You think I can't name 3 people on Philly's roster?
I can.
I can name 3 big men on Philly's roster. Okafor, Noel, and Embiid.
Okay. Do you think that's the best competition for him to get ready as a number 1 pick to be a potential perennial all-star? Or should he be playing against, say, Draymond or LeBron?
I don't want to play Draymond or LeBron.
Why? See, what? This mentality is just tripping me out.
I just said that last one just for fun to make you mad.
Oh.
If you dial 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us voicemails. You can leave us compliments, constructive criticism, feedback, questions, opinions, anything you want. Just call 985-80-JALEN.
Ideas.
Because it is Wednesday, we are celebrating the better gender, the females. We are now taking only female voicemails on this Wednesday. Let's listen to the first one.
Hey guys, it's Maggie from Buffalo. I wanted to say thanks for Woman Crush Wednesday. Liking it a lot so far. I was wondering if maybe we could get Mrs. Jacoby and Molly on a show. just, to honor the important ladies in your lives and, give the females a little different perspective on things. We'd love to hear what they have to say. And, yeah, that's about it. But, are the Clippers for real?
Maggie, you're the best.
Yes.
Would you have Molly and Mrs. Jacoby, Joey Jacoby, come on the show?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Why
it's
are you
too
asking
dangerous for me. It's too dangerous for me.
It's not our
It's too
choice.
dangerous.
Of course. It's not my choice.
Yeah, it is.
How's it going to be my choice if Joey Jacoby comes on the show?
I'm just saying, she can come on the show. I'm just worried about what she'll say.
I want to answer the question and not backpedal like David Jacoby. Of course, we can, should, and will have both of them, our better halves, on the show to represent.
My wife's going to want to get paid, though.
Mine's already getting paid to do media.
Yeah. Let's listen to the next voicemail. Thank you, Maggie.
Hi, Jalen and Jacoby. This is India from Chicago. And I was listening to the podcast yesterday, and I noticed that Jalen actually tripped up Jacoby for the first time when he asked him to name 2 songs from New Kids on the Block, and that really surprised me, and I actually started questioning Jacoby's knowledge base on, like, hip-hop songs. So I was wondering if, going forward, if you guys can actually have Jalen name a song, like a hip-hop song, or maybe any song for that matter, and have Jacoby describe the song, or maybe even, like, say a couple of lyrics from the song. And so in that way, it's kind of like, when Jalen describes the movie, but instead it would be Jacoby describing a song that Jalen would name. Because I did like I said, I was really surprised when Jacoby got tripped up, so I just thought that this show should be a two-way street. We can't have, Jalen the only one out here looking crazy. Thank you.
Thanks so much for the call. Let's listen to the next call.
No, let's go back to that.
No. Let's listen to the next voicemail. Let's listen to the next voicemail. She wants me to look like a fool. She wants me to look like a fool.
I knew it was paramount to open up the phone lines and get a group of individuals that are acknowledged to be way smarter than the male gender their own day. Mm-hmm. And
You're
this woman
this.
crushed
You are loving
Wednesday.
This. You are loving
and
this.
that call was my favorite one. Because she's exactly right. The goal of this program is to always make me look like the dumb former jock.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You do that on your own. You don't need to set that up as a goal. That just happens naturally.
And so I agree with you about the assessment of, since we tripped me up with the movie plots, let's find a way to trip David Jacoby up. So I thought about something. The ODB has an album that's hanging in this studio.
Okay.
Can you name 2 songs from it?
Brooklyn Zoo would be one, and Shame on A would be another. Thank you very much. I win everything. We will never do that again in the history of this show. Great job, India. Trying to make me look foolish. Great job, me.
I love you,
by
India.
thwarting your attempts.
I'm going to
Mr.
continue
Rose.
to do that.
I'm going to continue.
Because if I would have asked him Smith and Wesson, that would have been too easy.
I mean, I could do
boot
every
camp
lyric
player.
of everything. Yeah, come on. That's just written on my brain. Listen to the next voicemail.
Hey guys, it's Janine. My name. Okay, I hope y'all don't play this message or the last message because I messed up big time. So don't play these messages. I'll probably call back when I get myself together. But I love your podcast. Later.
See, that was my favorite one right there. Because we keep it 100 here, you know? We're all about honesty, authenticity, owning it, and being organic. Janine was like, I messed this up. Please don't play this. And we played it anyway. So that's
just
like
foul. You guys do to me.
That's kind of
foul. I edit that out. I watch the show,
she
get to the podcast, it's still on there.
not to have it played. And what does our production staff do? Third one they play. Yeah. You know what, Janine? Me and Jalen have your back. Our staff does not. I would have never played that message, Janine.
I got to do a better job of respecting the ladies.
I would have totally played that message. Let's listen to the next one.
Hey, this is Natalie from Missouri. I love your podcast. Listen to it every day while I'm driving to work using cruise control, which regulates my speed so that I don't get a ticket. My question is about the NBA All-Star Game and about how to make it matter more for the players. And I wonder if it would work that each player on the winning team would get a set amount of money to give to a charity of their choice. What do you think?
Interesting question from Natalie. First of all, my favorite listener of Jalen Jacoby is the daily podcast listener. But that makes it part of their routine. I just like that relationship. That's my favorite Jalen Jacoby listener. If you don't, you should subscribe to the Jalen Jacoby podcast. That being said, her question about the All-Star game, this is something, when you watch the All-Star game, it is exhibition basketball. It looks like exhibition basketball. They are trying to win less than people at the YMCA are trying to win the game until about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I don't think that will change. I don't think incentivizing people with money is going to change that. I don't think home court advantage in the finals is something that should be considered. Do you think that they should make steps to make the All-Star game more competitive?
Hit the brakes, because I'm going to stop you from saying something that you just said ever again.
No.
Did you just say people can be incentivized by money? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying if you're like, hey, we'll give $10,000 to your favorite charity, LeBron James, he's not going to be like, I got to get these buckets now.
What if they say I'm going to give $1 million?
Now we're talking.
Okay. That's the true answer to the question. It becomes a weekend celebration of NBA basketball, but the biggest staged event, the All-Star game, hasn't truly created a monetary motivation for the players.
No.
If it becomes that, then you'll get the type of effort that she described.
Do you want to watch that, though? I kind of like the exhibition style. I like Shaquille O'Neal bringing up the ball and throwing it, between people's legs. I like the alley-oops. I like that sort of like fun pickup basketball feel.
But the great thing about it is we're not talking about what Jalen Jacoby like. We're talking about what our caller likes.
Natalie.
And she wants to see them compete more. I think that would make it happen. I've never been a fan of the fans voting. I just think that's illegitimate when you can vote more than once, and then people say that's a popularity contest. And lastly, I have to acknowledge, she let us know she was on cruise control when she's riding to work.
I guess people use cruise control. I've never used cruise control.
I haven't either.
You don't even know how it works.
But
I don't even know how it works either.
But there's a lot of things in 2016 we don't do. We've never gone fishing.
Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey, Jalen Jacoby. My name is Taylor, and I'm calling from Toronto, Canada. Go Raptors. I'm calling in to ask for a favor and also to ask your opinion on how do you think the Raptors are going to do this season. But my favor I'm asking is my boyfriend put me onto your podcast, and he is completely obsessed with you guys and loves you guys so much, and he tells me about you all the time, so I have to become a listener. So I was wondering if you can give a shout-out to my boyfriend, Kenyon. Kenyon, I really, really hope that they choose this voicemail to play on the air, and I think you guys are great, and I'm a new fan from Toronto. Bye.
Big shout to Kenyon. And big shout to Taylor Swift, listens to the show. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
And it's always refreshing to hear a mate hold it down for the other side.
Mm-hmm.
She acknowledged, not only do I listen to the pod, she didn't act like it was some arbitrary way she fell into it. She was like, my boyfriend turned me on to it.
He talks about you all the time, so I have to listen to the pod.
And it becomes something that we share.
You know what I appreciate about that call? About halfway through the call, she started talking to Kenyon, like directly to him through our radio program. Big shout to Taylor.
And I want to answer her question about the Raptors. They've solidified themselves as the second best team in the East, winning 9 of their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
No team will knock off the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I anticipate they'll be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Who knows?
For the second straight year.
They might even lose in 7 games this year. Who knows? Jalen Rose, what are we doing this show? First question's from Joandre. Joandre has a simple question. Opinion on eggnog, ? Let me take this one, Jalen Rose. You can miss me with seasonal foods. You can miss me with all foods that are associated with a particular holiday or season. If those foods were good enough, we would ingest them year-round. Yes, I'm talking to you, pumpkin pie. Yes, I am talking to you, eggnog. If eggnog was truly delicious, we'd be drinking eggnog all year round, not just for 2 weeks at the end of December. That said, last weekend, I had some spiced rum with some eggnog, a little bit of nutmeg on top, and it was very tasty.
I agree with you. And I'm not big on the dairy anyway.
I had coconut milk in mine. You know about coconut milk?
I do.
It's good. Coconut milk eggnog. My wife's trying to keep it healthy around the house.
I like that. Maybe I need to try it.
It's good. Come on by.
I do like eggnog, in particular my Uncle Lynn's. He put a little adult juice in there. Mix it up a little bit.
Kyle has this question that neither of us are going to answer. In honor of Woman Wednesdays, what's the craziest thing you've done for a woman?
The craziest thing I ever done for a woman? Crazy gives the connotation as something you regret doing, or something that you were so head over heels and excited about accomplishing. I guess there's two ways to look at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It may happen this Sunday if the Lions lose to the Giants.
Next question we have. Do Jalen and Molly have a bet on the game this weekend? We got to figure this out. Let's do it on the show. Let's do it on the show.
Here's the thing. When my team is favorite, I'm pushing for bets.
Uh-huh.
When they're not favorite, you know, a couple of years ago when Michigan had lost to Ohio State for 10 straight years, guess what happened when those two teams played? I wasn't betting anybody. Okay?
Are you going to have a bet with Molly about this game?
We will have a bet.
You're going to tell us what the bet is?
I got to get permission.
Okay. I'll ask
So I'm pretty sure some of it's going to be on wax and some of it's going to be off wax.
Let's move on. Chris has a simple question I don't even know how to answer. What are your biggest fears?
Heights. Death.
Mine is not realizing my potential, both personally and professionally. Underachieving.
Your expectations are a lot lower than mine. You heard mine. Death.
You said heights first.
Yeah, because that leads to death. If I don't reach my potential,
if you think about it, everything leads to death, Jalen. Everything leads to death.
I got to teach everybody something.
Okay.
I'd rather not reach my potential and live till I'm 110 than reach my potential and be gone at 45.
I think that's fair. The Chosen One always sends in good questions.
Maybe I should have said 35 since I passed that.
The Chosen One question today is, what are the rules when you have a guest over as far as the refrigerator and what not